Well, we're here, we're ready to start. We have 45 minutes, now 43 minutes to conduct this session. For those who don't know me, kind of like the intimate setting and all. I like this kind of informal atmosphere we have because I think it'll work great for what we're going to do today. For those who don't know me, my name is David Bell. I work with a company called Discovery Zone Coaching. I do leadership coaching, sales coaching, and also do workshops, facilitate workshops. Of course, been a Toastmaster for 30 plus years. And so I've been doing this thing we call Toastmasters for a while. And a lot of what I'm going to share with you today are things I learned in Toastmasters. That'll work, right? Pretty excited about that? We in the right place? Yeah. So I will need you to hit that. I don't know what it is with this clicker, but it's just not playing well.
It's the connection apparently, but I can take care of it.
Okay, I'll just say next. You'll go next. And remind me if you think I've moved on, feel free to move on too. All right, so I'm working with a premise today. The title of the workshop is Better Conversations. My premise is if we do a better job of listening, we will have better conversations. And if we as a society have better conversations, guess what? We're going to have better relationships. So that's our premise. Next. I want to share with you a story that really woke me up about this. When my daughter was young, being very young, we started this ritual every night. I would sit down on her floor in her bed, and we'd read stories to each other. When she was really young, I would read her the story. And then as she got older, she read me the story. One night, we're sitting in her room, and she's reading the story. And I'm listening, but I'm also thinking about my day, all the things that I got done, the accomplishments. I was also thinking about things that didn't get done, the things I still needed to do tonight. Then I started thinking about tomorrow, and all the things I had to do, all the things I hadn't done yet to prepare for tomorrow. And about that time, my daughter says, "Daddy, you're not listening." Grabbed me by the face and turned me toward her, and she goes, "I'm right here. Listen, because I'm reading." It was in that moment that I realized, hey, we're listening yet. Really for ourselves, but more important, especially those who are close to us. And so that story kind of fast forward. I want to tell you, I'm not the expert on listening, but I'm a work in progress. I continue to focus on it, and I do it, again, not because of my expertise, because I know how important it is. So with that being said, one of Toastmasters' key core values is respect. And respect and listening is a form of respect. That's what we do in meetings. We listen to somebody give their speech, or their impromptu speech, or their evaluation. We're constantly using our listening skills in Toastmasters. So we have a chance to perfect them if we choose to. That being said, I'm going to share with you a formula that I've used to learn. And I'll talk to you about it like personally, but also Toastmastery. In Toastmasters, a lot of times I'll go to evaluations. What I saw, heard, what I think. You ever heard that evaluation before? And so today I want to talk about listening with our eyes, listening with our ears, listening. So first let's talk about listening with our eyes. What do you think of when you think of listening with your eyes? Body language. Body language. Okay, Albert Mehrabian, Dr. Albert Mehrabian says 55% of all communication is body language. Well, that's a lot. What else do you think of when you think of listening with your eyes? Eye contact. Eye contact. I'm on to you. Now, a little bit too much of that's a little scary, right? You were probably thinking this earlier, like, don't focus on me. But the eye contact, we know that they're listening, that they're looking at us in the eye. What else? You think of? Facial expressions. Facial expressions, looking at their face, to tell us the emotions. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they excited? What are they? It tells us a lot. What's the biggest obstacle with your face when listening with the face? We're distracted and looking at something else. Oh, there's, like, somebody just walked in the door, let's look at them. Or somebody just sit down and they're doing something, let's look at them. Or, you know, you hear this over here, so there's maybe, we go, what's going on? We had this in the last session, we turn around like, hey, there's a noise there. What's going on? It's shining. So when we're listening with our eyes, I love the facial expressions. I think it's smile, if you're smiling, not smiling. Somebody I read recently, and I'd like to test this a little bit more before I put it out there, but I'll put it out there anyway. So I'm gonna work on that. Like, watch their forehead. Their forehead says a lot. So that's an interesting. I like to their body language. What does that mean? What we saw versus open. Don't confuse it. In a room like this may be not coded. So sometimes you may want to check it, right? Also, am I leaning in? Or am I facing away? Body language. I remember exactly what I talked to. It seemed like every time I wanted to talk to her, she was like trying to go to her office. And I just caught myself observing that. Yeah, so that's a good point. And so anyway, that's an option. So let's go to the next one. That's listening with us. Listening with our ears. What do you think of when you think of listening with your ears? Tone. Tone, okay. So tone's a big part. Dr. Albert Moravian says 38% of our language is tone, how we say things. Only 7% is content. That's the tone is a big part. What else? You think your confidence? Your confidence? Your hearing confidence? Okay, what else? You're listening with ears. What do you think? I'll give you some. Oh, let me ask you this. What's the difference? You were going to say something? Pitch or pace or the rate of vocal variety. Those are things that we look at. We're listening with our ears. What's the obstacle of listening with their ears? What are they saying? Especially if two people speak different languages, language of origin is different, maybe challenging. Or if they heard it in the last session, you speak too fast, like I do sometimes. It's hard to catch every single word. So the thing that gets me is like in restaurants. If I'm in a restaurant and I have a conversation in the background, sometimes I just can't. But I have to set myself up for success so that I can actually grow in my ears. According to the Center for Creative Leadership, they mentioned three things listening to. Facts. You listen for facts. What's the content that we're listening for? Do I get the information that I need? The second is feelings. What's the emotion that the speaker or the person that I'm talking to is emoting at the time? Are they happy or sad or frustrated? Are they angry? But for that, listening to that in their language. And then the third piece is values. It's important to them. You can find that pretty fast. He's not in here, but he was in the last session. Frank, he was his name. Talked to him yesterday. Tell that is a really important relationship. Understanding the person's life. He may not even totally understand. Sometimes you got to check the sound slide. Now, it's really important. Sounds like this is what you're seeing. Family is very important. So listening for their heart. That's the third thing. What do you think of when listening with your? Oh, I did the three. Okay, back to the heart. What do you think of when listening to your heart? Oh, touchy feely. Empathy. Empathy. Oh, I like that.
Connecting with the emotion of what they're saying.
What they're saying. What's the opposite of it? They talk a lot about this in the DEI. diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? They paint the iceberg and what we see and all is usually kind of the safe ground. That's what we want to stay in. Having a conversation with the heart goes below the surface sometimes. You can get these apart.
The last session, we had storytelling, and we talked about escalating emotion.
But isn't that a great example? So escalating emotions, sense of feeling. So listening with our heart. What's the challenge? You said again, what's the opposite of empathy? Apathy. Right? I'll give you one that I've worked on for the last few years. It's judgment. Judgment. We don't judge. We judge three things. We judge ourselves. Oh, I'm not good enough to be special. Oh, I'm not good enough to give this speech. Or, oh, I'm not good enough for an officer role. We judge others. What do they think they're doing? Or we judge a situation. This technology thing, if they just get this right, I'd be okay here. But we judge things constantly. That's the thing. When I realized it was a few years ago, I was walking in the neighborhood. It's really cold. And I saw this teenager wearing shorts. I'm like, that idiot. And then I caught myself. I'm like, look here I go again. We're constantly judging, and that's somewhat of a form of bias. So the opposite of judgment is empathy. Ourselves. Certain about ourselves. Others. Understanding their situation. People want to be seen, heard, and understood. They already got before. Great book, great resource, David books, how to know a person. Great book. It came out this last year. Just a beautiful story. Listen, really understand the person. That's what the heart is on.
Empathy relates to compassion.
Back to compassion, having caring. I think of compassion and care. So I'm going to give you 3 eyes. I call it iHeart Radio since we're talking about the heart. About intent. So when we're talking to somebody else, sometimes we gotta go like this, right? Like, who are they and why are they coming at me like that? It's a good intent. Here's another one. This is a tough one. Intuition. Have you ever used this one for yourself? What am I feeling right now? What's really going on? When I met Barry yesterday, I'm like, man, I like this guy. He's soft and very out there and carrying the flag. And I just, it's like we made a connection, right? And so the intuition is he was a really caring person. But that's just my reaction. That's my intuition. Or I could approach somebody and go, you seem to be really distracted. And I ran into somebody yesterday, somebody I've known for a while. And as I was talking to them, they were all wanting to go past me to the next one. My intuition is that they need to get somewhere else. That's just today's conversation. Intuition becomes, try it out. Don't own it. Whatever the intuition is, put it out there and say, since you kind of need to go. Yes, I do. I got to go right over there. That's okay. No. Don't just assume that that's what they need to do. The last I is impact. We know about this in Toastmasters. What's the impact this meeting is having on me? This conversation is having on me? This relationship is having? What's the impact? Happy? Sad? I always get stressed out when I talk to this person. What is the impact? So those are the eyes that I have. It's with our. Any questions about eyes, ears, or heart? You want me to keep talking? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do an exercise. We're going to practice. So I want each of you right now to think of a story, something, a hobby or an interest that's really important to you, something that you value. Okay. And be prepared for Toastmasters. 1 to 2 minutes to share it with 3 other people. So we're going to get in groups of 4. Each of us are going to share our 1 to 2 minute story about something that's a hobby or an interest or something that we're passionate about. We're going to share it with the group. And then I want the person to your left to listen with only your eyes. Then the next person listen only with your ears. And then the next person Listen only with your heart. We'll give each person a chance to talk 1 to 2 minutes. Get real quick feedback, just real quick. 1 to 2 minutes total. All right, because we're on a clock. So we gotta do this. Anybody any questions on what we're gonna do? We need groups of 4.
These instructions for how to turn off the Zoom. Focus on just one. How do I turn off the, I can only listen to the
Oh, yeah.
ears.
Oh, this is funny. I've not
hard.
I've not seen this before, but this happened the other day in a workshop I was doing, is the person who was listening with their ears and turned away. I thought that was interesting. So do whatever you want to, but just each of us will get a chance to focus on one skill, our eyes, our ears, and our heart. And then we're gonna talk for 2 minutes, or 1 to 2 minutes, and then each of you will give 1 minute, kind of, here's what I saw, here's what I heard, and here's what I want to do back. So, based on the role. Need groups of 4, so find your groups of 4, you can move the chairs.
Three groups
We
of
put them
4.
back in order after we.
Or 3, yeah.
Just spread them out, enjoy yourself, getting groups of 4. And if you don't have a group of 4, get a group of 3 and it can still work.
We need one more over here.
I think
So, yeah, it looks like we'll see 4, 3 will work, 3 will work, 3 will work, 3. Actually, if you went, yeah, this will work, 3s will work. So if you're in a group of 3, first person will listen with their eyes, and the second person is observing the speaker will listen both with their ears and their eyes. So you'll do a double. Everybody with me on that?
David, do you have any special instructions for the people online?
All right, how many people do we have online?
I can only see 2 windows so far, what I'm looking at up
What
there.
I would say to those online, if you want to practice this exercise, and if you're willing to exchange phone numbers in the chat with each other, maybe exchange phone numbers and have a phone conversation. This exercise will take about 20 minutes or so. And so with only 2, it will probably go a lot quicker. So after that time, it can say, hey, nice to meet you. But take that opportunity to do it. And if you're online and you're just the other person, you'll have to listen. Pick one of them. Eyes, ears, or heart, and just practice listening with that person. If you want to do a second round because there's only 2 of you, you're welcome to practice it.
Dave, do you want a timer?
That you are just wonderful, partner. I'm gonna just take you everywhere I go.
Okay.
Here on this, okay? So if you would, I don't mind timing it, so if you have somebody in your group to time the 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, no 30-second overlays. 1 to 2 minutes total.
Great. Might want to close.
Who's the first person? Who's gonna tell their? Okay, who's the first person? Let's talk first. Share your knowledge. Okay, who's the first person? Marcus. Okay. Oh, 2 minutes.
All that sense of its perspective. Almost every human being. This is the most important side thought I have been to teach. And this is people. Y'all just like us. Just do a great job listening to them. Of course, if you listen to them, everyone's gonna like it. One of the most important things is how everything you do that will go even if they try to these steps. Ladybugs become intelligent. Other things, how they see. We all know how they see. But They demonstrate. I don't care if they use fun way. I don't even want to. Certain people.
It was a little late, but it's so late.
Everything that is always like. So having them heard was the first. But want to be understood, not just heard, but practiced. The second thing is not that stuff. Very individual. Demonstrate to someone that they are absolutely correct. They are right.
All right, if you're the first speaker, we're gonna go back to the evaluation, or not evaluation, what's your observations for the two? Have the same. So give me 3 minutes for sharing observations.
So.
Okay, so. We go down to this, right? And I'm gonna no. That's wrong. Oh, sure. Really fast.
Well, that we have to, for me, it's like. But yeah, if I prepared more, then I would be much more careful how to choose my words. So I noticed that on task. That's we almost. Yeah, but I had to check. It wasn't the context.
So generally, when you're speaking, it's just looking at the manners and it's generally when you're speaking. I'm still used to it. Well, you said everyone would be this, you gave good motion, and when you pointed, making eye contact, you know, you used very facial expressions. You were saying that you were passionate about it, and they said, I'm passionate about it. It was like, it was one of those things that you said, you know, you want to show that, you know, that you've heard them, that you've heard it, and you did at that point in time. See, so it's, that shows when you did that, you're like, see, I heard. So if you used your space very well, and you were very expressive, and you were very open about it.
Pretty excited.
So I was using my normal voice would be deep, resonant, bunch. In the poses and
We have about 34 more seconds before we go to the next round.
with the ocean. If I need right, I think the hierarchy of I know what's next.
All right, has everybody done round one? Yes, we got one more to go.
Okay, we got.
Or you mean like?
One speaker, we've already done.
We just want, you're ahead of the curve. So now we're gonna go to speaker number 2. You're ahead of the curve. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes for speaker number 2. And then I'll pause, we'll give observations again, and then we'll go to speaker number 3. All right, ready, go.
My mother has never read to me. They never really had all this radio. CEOs or committees. Going out for movies. Growing up and having a teenager. Was really great. They had that's when I found the audio and it started with a tape player in my pocket because a lot of them at that senior time were on tapes. And then as time came forward, a lot of them were on CDs. And now I have a smartphone in my pocket. And now when I have my commute to the house and I'm doing laundry, I have my earbuds in and I have just and it could be historical, it could be science fiction, it could be about vampires, it could be about wizards, witches, but there's always a story going on in my to that commute. You know, I've had a long day, you know, in the treadmill, what am I doing? Not while I'm listening. When I hop in my car, and
I saw your confidence grow at the beginning of your gesture. But
Beyond the distraction.
All right, so storyteller number 2, wrap it up, and we're gonna go to the observation, give you 3 minutes for sharing your observation.
The only thing I was just focusing just on the
just keep going, you know.
Yeah, almost like a flower. It's kind of like now I get to experience this joy in life through the higher books. I feel your emotion.
I haven't changed. My drive is
And for the most part, it was easy.
I'm saying, I can't keep direct that. I did that, I would like look off and get my doctor, my head to be more descriptive on what I want to do.
This is the first one I did, I did it, which is sad.
I have my dog.
All right, we're at the end of round two. Thank you very much. Now have your attention, please. We're going to round three. So the speaker that's going to present, 1 to 2 minutes, go.
Yeah, I'm watching you right now, not even what I was saying. Yeah. So the next time I mean, and thinking about the shoes.
On the road.
Yeah, the first thing.
I don't like it.
One time.
All right, 3 minutes are up. If you would, switch roles and have the observers give feedback. Eyes, ears, and heart.
You have very good, you kept it around pace. You have power word. Like when you said, feel, you dropped your voice. Brought it up and you slowed it down, you broke that little bit.
I'm saying that back to this conversation. Guys, that's kind of essentially what I was saying. I was talking to Mark. I not even feel what I'm saying in this moment. So you're right.
Yeah, it's very emotional and also it's like feel you lean towards me when you're like Sarah and I can see feel your body without doing it. See how it's been, what would have impacted me on, like, I would feel it.
I wanna get there.
It's like an audiobook or on podcast.
No, you have
It makes sense how you're not only more focused on what you were saying, you know, clear about what you were saying, and you're more focused on how you were saying. And education isn't about what you say, it's about how they're hearing your message, and you were so focused on the hearing and how do I just what I'm saying. It's body language, words, things, how you were chanting certain words and how you said those were very well. And when you react and connect, you've got an insert, and then you have to down to that's what I'm saying. Yeah, which is the communication is you know for a fact if you make that shit better, yes, you're right with me. We were doing that. You just make great parents, but somehow it's still. Sending that message, and occasionally as you go along, as you notice on whether you're noticing that they're disappearing. And then you turn it in a different way, because I said the possibility. And I was noticing it, you can actually model it. And I think what's the fact, and I'm like, I can never do this, and so I made a change.
All right.
Exactly.
What round was that?
Absolutely, yes.
So for those who are in groups of three,
I can almost notice every time there's.
you're not.
And even choose. You can't read some in the restaurant, and you said before, it's size, but also that all.
Oh, thank you. Enjoyed it, guys. What a team, what a team.
You just assess them very quickly and even turn them in a good direction.
Oh, is this one?
We all have our own stuff. That's how I'm going to pay back. I'm not gonna take these. Watch and see the rest of the thing. But I don't.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up round 40 and 20 minutes.
I can see, people listening. But, you know. I see the terms, I'm not angry.
Pretty good at it. I'd like to say, before they.
I think you are hungry.
I'll say you don't count the answer. I hear.
It's like you have to get really close for it to connect.
Is that where you want it?
Thank you so much for participating. Let me ask you this question. As a one unique presenter, that will be heard. But how was that for you, being the presenter and having?
Nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking.
I felt like a live autopsy.
Wow, what made you feel that?
I just felt like another table topic. Yeah.
That's somebody else.
I just felt like I was giving another speech.
Yeah. What was the hardest part of listening? Which of the roles was the hardest part?
Well, the hardest, but I felt is, it was when I was doing just my ears, it's never really been conscious of before. But it really opened my mind up to take all those senses out, just focus on the one. You can still get all that feelings, the emotion, even though you're just hearing the voice.
To me, it felt like a massage. I was bringing all this great attention and evaluation back to my speech. And it felt great. Great words. They were massaging my emotions. Words. Because it really listened.
What's it like to be there?
Always empowering.
That's my challenge to you, whether it's a personal relationship, professional relationship, master's relationship. It's hard to listen. Just focus on the listen. You'll see that it builds better conversations. And I prompted a couple of you about asking questions. Some of you are doing a really good job of asking who, what questions, what, how questions, and asking questions to learn more. And I noticed several of the groups probably learned some things you didn't know about. You didn't know the other person, it's a good start, right? So that's my challenge to you, is to listen with your eyes, your ears, and your heart. If you wanna, I offered this yesterday and I'll offer it again today, whether it's a membership or getting better at the skill, you wanna have a discovery conversation about that. It's not a sales pitch, it's just, you're welcome to have a conversation. If it's something you're working on that you'd like to talk about, I wanna open myself up to that. Or if you wanna dive deeper in this conversation about how to be a better listener. Conversation station. So feel free to reach out to me. And that being said, what do you wish to talk?